Hey there, Craike here, and today I am sharing an interview I did with Michael Nadalin from Market Lead. He's a good mate of mine and we've worked together on hundreds of campaigns, but he had a chance to actually interview me on my top e-commerce conversion rate optimization tips. So excited to share this with you today, and I've done the conversion rate optimization for 7-figure, 8-figure and 9-figure brands. In fact, I was actually the head of funnels and conversions for the 9-figure company down here in Australia called the Oodie. So building up all the testing roadmaps and managing their A/B testing program. And in today's video, what we're going to be going over is the fatal mistakes a lot of e-commerce businesses make when planning out their store and some helpful little tips to get a bigger conversion boost on your store. So let's tune in and get into it.
Okay, Matt. So let's start off with, mate, you've got a lot of experience in the e-commerce, lead generation B2C and lead generation B2B, but we want to start off with the e-commerce because that's like where the bleeding neck is. Most of my clients now are e-commerce. They're changing things in Google Ads at the moment, and all advertising is in e-commerce mostly. So that's why I got you here, mate. I want to ask you and go deep into your mind and just hear the things that you recommend, but you see in the clients that you work with. So just for everyone's knowledge, Matt is one of the best people I know for landing pages, conversion rate optimization, funnels, email marketing, everything that's about getting hot, high intent traffic to buy or convert. So I wanted to get Matt on today just to ask him the questions about how to get more sales, more leads, more everything from your traffic. Like, you don't want to be spending all this money on traffic that just goes to pages and funnels that just don't convert. So we'll start off with e-commerce because that's probably the hottest space at the moment, especially with Performance Max on Google Ads, Facebook changing a lot. So I wanted to ask Matt, and we'll start off with Matt. The best question is, what are the biggest mistakes you're seeing with e-commerce stores?
The biggest mistakes I see, and when it comes down to conversion rate optimization, especially with like e-commerce, is way too many people focus on like the design and like the brand of their business. We see people that have spent $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 on websites, and there's neons, there's like flying graphics everywhere, and they look absolutely sick. But the problem is they don't convert. And some of the best websites and brands I've worked with, so just to give everyone a bit of scope of who I've worked with, so I was actually the head of funnels and conversions at Davie Group. So they own the brand, the Oodie, and we were spending, say, 150, 160K a day on ads. And you know what their theme was built on? The default theme of Shopify, right? They haven't even paid for a theme. They've optimized it slightly, but that's the thing, right? Like, you don't need all these bells and whistles to get more conversions coming through. And in most cases, it actually gets in the way. And if you have a look at Amazon, for example, they just had Prime Day over in the States. They made 300 million individual sales in the space of 48 hours, right? So the biggest mistake that we see is just like over designing and maybe over branding a website, and that's a little bit too soon in their journey. And what they need to do is they need to think about what would be a familiar shopping experience for my customer, right? So just make your site a little bit more like Amazon or a little bit more like Dawn or Debut, which are the default themes on Shopify. So that's pretty much like the first big mistake that we see, is just like they create an unfamiliar experience when it comes to buying something. And if there's a learning curve to even buy from your website, your conversion rate's going to get crushed. So
that is amazing. So I'm going to interrupt you there because like we speak a lot and we've never spoken about this. And this is probably like the most profound thing you've ever actually said to me, because it's so simple. Like, everyone's like understands like the less clicks, the less conversion, like the more clicks, the less conversion rate. And we understand with Amazon, but the fact that you worked at a company that's done over $100 million in sales on e-commerce, and the fact that they just use the standard Shopify default is like mind-blowing. But then like it makes sense because the user knows that default because they've probably seen on so many other e-commerce stores before. And anytime you're doing something different, you're adding a point of like, not resistance, but just like, not like, you're just not familiar with it. And if you're not familiar with it, it's just going to be harder to navigate, harder to buy, less trustworthy versus yeah, mate, that is amazing. I reckon we could just like finish there because I know with a lot of my e-com clients, sometimes I look at their website, I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Like, yeah, it looks good, but like, I don't even know where my shopping cart is. So
yeah, it's hidden in a hamburger menu. It's like 5 clicks away, and it's just too hard to buy from them. And they've just set up all these roadblocks, and it's not just one roadblock. It's roadblock 1, roadblock 2, roadblock 3, and every roadblock is just a friction point, which is actually going to be just hurting the the buying experience and just lowering your conversion rate.
That's huge. Well, mate, that
Yeah.
is well,
And as another example, like it's easy to look at like, you know, the Oodie and it's like, oh, but that's a viral brand. Of course they can use that. Well, I also work with a cleaning company, which I have been as a private consulting client for 2 years now. And we've been on the same theme. It's the debut theme is what it's called on Shopify. And their conversion rate's at 8% to 9%. And what they're doing is they're sending really quality traffic and they've got a really quality product. And those are the two things. And then you just need a basic Shopify store that's not over designed, and it's easy to buy because it looks like all the other stores out there. So there's no learning curve to actually buy from you.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's really good. Like the first part I just want to chat about here is just like the mistakes that you see, and then we'll go into the recommendations. But that is a huge one. Like it's just the theme and just the user experience full stop is huge. What's the next one, Matt?
The next mistake that I see a lot of e-commerce entrepreneurs make, and just say Shopify stores, is the focus on the first sale. So the first sale, obviously hugely important, but as we go on and as it comes into 2023, 2024, 2025, it's going to get more and more expensive. I was having a look at like the cost per clicks over the last, it was about 4 to 5 years, and they're up 66%, right? So we get scared about inflation of, 9% at the moment is like the talk around town. Ad inflation is, hovering at 10 or 15% over the last 5 years, right? Like that is a huge, huge increase. So, and it's just going to get even worse for these e-commerce entrepreneurs, right? So they really need to also be focusing not only on the conversion rate, but also like the average order value, and then also starting to think about the back end, which is sort of where I specialize as well, and is in the email marketing, right? How can we get people purchasing, more quickly on through the brand, right? So in terms of like, hey, if I want to increase my revenue on Shopify and e-commerce, there's 3 core things you can focus on, right? Getting more customers, increasing the amount that they spend, or increasing their purchase frequency. And as this ad inflation comes through and gets more and more expensive to run traffic, it's really like that purchase frequency that's really going to build back-end revenue and profit for these brands.
Yeah, man, that's huge. I know we were just chatting about that before, but like one of the biggest issues I see with clients, just either clients I'm auditing or even some clients that I'm working with, is everyone's so focused on the front end because it's the most tangible. I spent this much on Google ads or Facebook ads and I got this much in revenue. But I think the issue is we're always optimizing the front end, but not optimizing the back end. So if you spend $1 on Google ads and you make $4 back, you've got your 400% ROAS. But like that's input cost, output revenue. But then people don't look at you can do so much on the back end. Like they're more loyal, they're more likely to buy, they're trustworthy. And the return on ad spend is like infinite because it's only costing you cents and you could be getting 2 to 3 times. So you get that 1 to 4. Now that 1 to 4 is turning to like 1 to 8 and then 1 to 12. Yeah. That's why I wanted to chat to you about this, because like a lot of people either I chat with, like just other Google Ads nerds or other people, like we're always so focused on the hacks we can do on the front end, on the advertising, or what we can recommend the client on the landing page or the website. But then rarely is anyone really talking about like the back end and then the follow-up sequences and the post-selling like sales and just continue there. So that's something that I think everyone should be interested in. Like so when you even see businesses that aren't doing it, what about businesses who are doing it? What are the biggest mistakes you're seeing in businesses even when they've got that post-sale experience set up? Like what are the issues you're seeing there a lot of the times?
So obviously with e-commerce, like Klaviyo is pretty much the go-to email marketing platform. And it's an amazing platform. It's like literally my favorite like email marketing tool out there. And it goes like so deep. And where we see a lot of people fail is they actually go way too shallow with their email marketing. So their abandoned cart flow might only be 2 emails. And they're like, oh, I don't want to be pushy or I don't want to be too salesy with my audience. But the business exists to make sales. So I'm all for being salesy with it and increasing depth. Like every Klaviyo account that I review and audit, I'm just like, we need more depth. We need more depth on the welcome series, the abandoned cart series, and even like the first time purchase series as well, right? So when someone first buys from you, how do we indoctrinate them into the brand? And a more advanced sort of, it's called email marketing flows and automations within Klaviyo. Like one of the more advanced flows that you can actually deploy for an e-commerce brand is a habit building sequence. So when they first buy from you, how can you indoctrinate that person to enjoy and experience the product, so they share it with friends and they actually build habits around it, because that's what's going to get you that purchase frequency that we talked about earlier, right? If we can speed up the amount that they're using a product, if it's like a consumable, let's say it's makeup or it's like skincare or something along those lines, if we get them using it more regularly instead of once a day, twice a day, they're going to need the product faster again, right? So they're going to come back and repeat and purchase. And then they're also, like, it's going to sound bad, but almost be like brainwashed, right? They're going to be like using it every day and they're going to understand the benefits. They're going to start explaining it to their friends. And then you get that word of mouth referral traffic coming through, right? Which is super high intent traffic. So when you get a referral coming through, that slashes your cost per acquisition in half. Get every customer to bring along a friend, then you don't have that much issues when it comes to economics and making sure you know your marketing math stacks up.
Hey guys, hope you're enjoying the video today, guys. If you are, make sure you like and subscribe so you never miss a video and update from me. And also head over to mattsfreebook.com. I've just completed my new book called Black Box Persuasion, 7 advanced persuasion triggers to get more marketing response for your business and from your marketing. So check it out at mattsfreebook.com.
Yeah. So just summarizing what we've gone through so far. 1, most people's landing pages or website for e-commerce is too fancy and it's against what the users are used to. 2, that people like, not the 3 things you can focus on is increasing customers, increasing order value, or increasing frequency. And then we've gone to like a subset of that, like increasing the frequency, and most people's post-sale selling is quite shallow and doesn't have depth and doesn't have sophistication with different user journeys based on if it's their first buy and going from there, and then missing out the opportunities that also come from there. We'll just go into a 3rd mistake and then we can go into some solutions, because I don't even know how long we've been chatting for, but I was trying to keep this brief, but knowing us, we chat so much. So what would you say, just like for an e-commerce business, what would be the 3rd mistake that you typically see?
Site speed. And optimizing for site speed. So, you know, I've worked with e-commerce brands where we have like literally a site speed specialist on board that's getting paid like a $10,000 a month retainer. It was that important to the business. And you know, as you get more and more traffic, if your site is slow, people are just going to bounce. And it's like, oh, why is my bounce rate so high? It's because it's taking too long to load. And we've got people on YouTube and Facebook, they're getting content served pretty much instantaneously. And if they see an ad that they like, they click on the ad, and then there's like this delay of 3 to 4 seconds. It's like, oh, I'm bored, right? Like, I'm not sure what the average TikTok length is, but if it takes longer to load than like a TikTok, you're going to be in trouble. So that's the other big thing, is it's like, you know, site speed and like average site speed load, like you want to be at least under 3 seconds, if not faster. And that's why like using some of these custom themes that we talked about earlier, they're actually really, really bad, right? They've got all this bloatware. And that's why like the Shopify theme actually converts so high, is it doesn't actually have that bloat in there. So it loads quicker. And that's why it's naturally the conversion rate's higher.
Dude, that's amazing. I think like looking at these 3 things, or these multiple things, they all seem to fit in. Like simplicity.
Integrated, yeah.
Yeah, simplicity, but also depth will be the thing that actually gets you more sales. So thanks for saying those, man. I know we could mention another 10, 15, 20, but let's just go into
I want to add one more thing to it. It's like, think about, you know, we're big fans of obviously Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, and Charlie Munger's got his inversion thinking, right? So it's like, instead of focusing on what you do want, just focus on what you don't want, so you can do the opposite of that. So what would a terrible shopping experience look like? They wouldn't know where the cart button is. The site would slow lonely, right? And then the 3rd one is like, you'd only follow them up once on like the email marketing backend. That is a terrible experience, and like you're going to have a really low conversion rate. So just do the opposite of that, right? And then take it up to the next level. And that's how you can sort of like use that inversion thinking, being like, oh yeah, that's what I don't want. And now here's what successful marketing looks like. Let's take it back to basics and have a look at like those core things that will spark the conversion rate and average order value for this e-commerce brand.
Huge, mate. Mind blowing. I think everyone would need to watch this at 0.5 speed, because you just drop in.
I get a bit excited and talk a bit fast.
No, that's good. And I think that kind of blends in just to the next part, which is just like, you know, if I have a lot of e-commerce clients that I will be sending this towards, and also there'll be heaps of e-commerce owners and Shopify owners especially, who have downloaded my PMax guide, who reach out to me, who just like ask me about advertising stuff. But I see that the advertising definitely is an issue for them, but it's the other side as well. So like doing the BuzzFeed, TikTok, super simplified, like oversimplified approach, like what are the top 3 things, let's keep it super simple, that you'd recommend for like an e-commerce store owner that they could implement today or even over the next week? That's one, super practical. Two, pretty fast to do. It doesn't have to be today. Like it could be done executed in the next 2 weeks. And three, like just will get the results. Like what are the top 3 to 5 things that like you're just like bang, bang, bang. 80% of the time, if you do these, you just get amazing results.
Yeah, okay. So the first one would be add a sticky add to cart button on mobile traffic. So just a sticky button down the bottom, like pretty much every time we add this to an e-commerce store, it lifts conversion rates. Your typical, mobile traffic coming to a store, it's going to be 80%, right? So making sure it's at all times when they're scrolling through the experience, they can click the button and add to the cart instantly, right? Like you don't want the user hunting around for a button. So that would be the first one. The second one would be, and then again, it's always about like the mobile experience, right? So it's the imagery, right? Everyone just like, uploads a photo of a t-shirt, right? And it's just like, you need to change that imagery and you need to make use of like the screen real estate that you have. So maybe it's adding little benefit icons to your actual imagery, right? Being like 100%, bamboo organic cotton on it or something along those lines, or extra breathability. And just adding those little benefits on your imagery can increase conversion rates, right? Because you only get a short amount of time to hook someone's attention. So if you've got the right benefit on that photo when it first pops up, you're going to be more inclined to get someone scrolling through, making sure it's a good fit for them, less people bouncing and more people adding to cart.
Beautiful.
The next one as well would be just around sort of like proof as well as urgency. So the first one with proof would be like get one of those sales pop apps being like, so-and-so just bought an electric scooter in, Windsor, Australia. So, having that and just showing that the people are actually buying on the website, you might know that people are, you make 200 orders a day, right? And it's like, oh yeah, we make sales, we're legitimate. But someone coming to your brand for the first time, they're not aware of your brand at all. The first thing that they think is, can I even trust this website with my money? And then if they see other people doing it right now and it's verified, that's going to get more conversions coming through. And then the last one I would say would just be urgency, adding stock levels, especially if you've got like low stock levels that are like connected up to your Shopify store. Having little plugins for that near the add to cart button can really induce scarcity and a bit more FOMO and get more people checking out.
Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, that's like...
That's the tactics. The other thing that most people, 90% of people won't do this, and it's research and surveying your actual audience, right? So one of the things that we've developed, the Persuasion experience, is a conversion-based survey. So we roll this out. We ask for, hey, what encouraged you to buy today? Hey, what was your biggest concern when you were buying? Understanding like the friction points. And this isn't like we're giving them like multi-choice options, making it easy. We're asking for qualitative facts. And then we analyze each and every single response. We ask, hey, what are you 3 big challenges right now according to X, whatever that brand is in. And what we start to do is understand the psychographics of the customer. And pretty much, I'd say almost 98% of the businesses that we work with don't go to the detail that we go with their surveying, even if they don't do that at all. And it's like, it's dirty work, right? Like you get your hands dirty, it's laborious, it's boring, but it's going to give you the ultimate upper edge because no one out there does it. And that's just going to give you a better understanding of your customer. And more importantly, what we do with this is we analyze all these responses and build word clouds. And this is the exact words your customer uses. So Michael, when you're doing your ads, you can be like, oh no, we can't use that word. We need to use that word. Boom, we get an instant increase on our click-through rate on our ads. And then we can put that in our emails. Boom, more clicks on our emails. Then we put it on our landing page, more conversions on our landing page, right? You're just layering on all these different touch points and really creating this, what we call, a persuasion experience, which is what our whole brand is about. And it's essentially, giving your customer crack because they're like, this is exactly what I need. Like, I want more of it.
Mate, that is in depth. Well, yeah. Thank you so much for that. And then obviously the initial points were like simplifying your themes, just making it more user experience. And we can definitely probably need to do another video on some sort of Klaviyo or email marketing for post, e-com generation.
Do it.
But we'll just wrap up this video now. We're going to jump into the next segment. But anyone just watching this, Matt works for a company that he owns. You are the director in it, or how would you describe yourself?
Co-founder with my partner.
Co-founder. Yeah. And at Persuasion Experience, all the links will be below. Matt is releasing a ebook next week on, what's it called, Matt?
Black box persuasion. So the 7 advanced persuasion triggers that you can use in your sales and marketing to get more clicks coming through, get more people converting, and get people buying again.
Excellent. And that link will be below once it's released. So if it's not there, just wait around, come back in a week. And if it's not there in a week, I'll be harassing Matt going, mate, people are waiting for this. So
Yeah.
we're going to wind this up. Thanks, Matt. And we'll jump into the next segment. Or do you have something else to say, mate?
I was just going to add as well, I'm actually also working on training at the moment of how to get 20 UGC video testimonials for e-commerce brands in 24 hours. So that'll also be getting released soon. So make sure you jump on the email list because it's absolutely going to rock your world. And proof is one of those really big conversion triggers that you can use in your marketing. So I'm like super pumped. We just rolled it out for an insurance company and we got like 17 reviews in the space of a day. And like, who wants to leave a video testimonial for an insurance company? So for these D2C brands, they can create like literally 50 video testimonials every single quarter by using this process.
That is amazing. Excellent. Thanks for that, mate. And we're going to jump into our next segment. So thanks for watching this. Jump into the next segment. If you haven't seen this will be released in the next coming days. So enjoy.